This morning, global markets followed Wall Street's lead and surged after the government said that it will bail out Citigroup. In Japan, Nikkei soared more than 5%. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng rose 3.5%. Early show national correspondent Jeff Glor is at the New York Stock Exchange, hoping this uptick will continue. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Maggie, good morning to you. Yeah, here on the floor between Friday and Monday, it's been the largest two-day percentage-wise increase for both the Dow and the S&P since October 1987. Most traders feel these swings will continue both up and down. All of this caused by uncertainty. Today, we might get a little more certainty when Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson talks more about what the government's going to do with that $700 billion rescue plan. They're trying to get more help for consumers looking for loans. The Citigroup rescue that helped rally Wall Street Monday came courtesy of the government's ever-evolving $700 billion TARP Fix-It Fund, out of which $310 billion has been committed so far to more than 90 financial firms. But with limited success until now, what happens to the rest and when? Questions Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson will try to answer today.
If need be, we're going to make these kind of decisions to safeguard our financial system in the future.
Monday, Paulson by his side, President Bush defended the actions they've taken. But it's a very awkward time, with a lame duck president in office and an incoming one chomping at the bit, all while a financial crisis roils the markets day after day.
I mean, you've got a guy that's been trying to change a flat tire on a car going 100 miles an hour. Now he's going to get out of the driver's seat and let someone else slide in. It's a very difficult process. It's a very dynamic process, and the rules of the game change every day.
President-elect Obama rolled out his big-name economic team Monday, and he did not deny that hundreds of billions of extra dollars could be needed to mend our fractured system.
This will not be easy. There are no shortcuts or quick fixes to this crisis, which has been many years in the making. And the economy is likely to get worse before it gets better.
Barack Obama will be speaking again today, soon after Hank Paulson does, another way both the outgoing and incoming administrations are trying to sync up their message. Harry?
All right, thanks very much, Jeff. Legendary investor Jim Rogers is here to give us his forecast on the future of the U.S. economy and what he believes needs to be done to help make it a little better. Good morning, sir.
Delighted to be here.
Good to see you. We're watching these wild gyrations on the market. Last week it went down below 8,000. Friday and Saturday, Friday and Monday, you have this combined run-up of more than 900 points, biggest run-up in 20 years or something. Are these gyrations going to continue?
Well, they are. But, you know, if you give me several $100 billion, I'll show you a good time, too. I'll make the markets go up. Come on, you know that.
Let me ask you something. We see this bailout of Citigroup yesterday. This is the second time they've gone to the federal trough. This for billions and billions and billions of dollars. The market breathes a sigh of relief. One of the analysts I heard yesterday said, oh, stop. This is only the beginning of the federal help that Citigroup is going to need in order to survive.
Of course it is, but you've got lots of other banks that are going to need just as much money, too. There's a gigantic problem going on out there, Harry. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, those turkeys in Washington are bankrupting you and me and our children and everybody watching this show to save their friends on Wall Street. I find it outrageous. I find it morally outrageous, and it's bad economics.
Here's the question, because if any of us were in any part of a company and we were responsible for its ruin, would we be at work the next day?
You would be fired, and you might go to jail. But these guys are getting huge bonuses. They get to keep their Maseratis. You know, there are lots of 29-year-olds on Wall Street driving around in Maseratis. Mm-hmm. They're going to get to keep them, and you and I are going to get to pay higher taxes, and our children are going to have inflation and higher taxes. It's outrageous.
We talked to Arthur Levitt last night. He says, you know what? We can't allow these institutions to fail. Is that
true? Absolutely wrong.
He's wrong.
Banks have been going bankrupt for hundreds of years. Investment banks have been going bankrupt for hundreds of years. It's not the end of the world. You need to clean out incompetence.
Okay, what would happen, for instance, if what happened to Lehman happened to everybody else? If all of a sudden we woke up tomorrow and all these institutions down on Wall Street didn't exist
Harry,
anymore?
We would have a very bad couple of years. But you know what's going to happen now? We're going to have a very bad decade, all of us. Let 1 million people on Wall Street suffer. There are 300 million Americans. We're going to all suffer for maybe a decade, maybe 2 decades. The Japanese did this in the 90s. They wouldn't let anybody fail. 18 years later, they're still trying to recover from the problems because they wouldn't let anybody fail.
All right. You've got some great tips in a book about things that can be done to help save the United States, which we don't have time to go into right now. But if you need to know more, just Google Jimmy Rogers and it'll all be right there.